Welcome back to Cartoon Universe. Today, we had literally just one of you ask if I would do a video on my favorite characters from Helluva, and I thought, what the heck, it's Christmas, let's make a top 3 list. My name's Deepcut, hit that subscribe button, and here are my top 3 favorite characters from Helluva, as well as a special mention, of course. Now, my absolute favorite character in Helluva is Stolis. There's a lot of things to love about him. He's a cool owl, he has real-life lore behind him that's a lot of fun, but for me, the connection has always been a bit more personal. Before working at Cartoon Universe, I was actually the protege to a psychic for about 5 years. His name was Bill Burns, and some of your parents or grandparents now may even remember seeing him on TV and hearing him on the radio back in the 80s. And Stolis has always reminded me of Bill. For 5 years, we traveled the country doing psychic readings and exorcisms and clearing haunted houses and getting TV pilots made about us. Growing up, I was never really close with my own father, and Bill really taught me how to be a businessman and how to survive in this world. In the end, he became like a father to me, so much so that when he got sick, I spent the last year of his life just taking care of him full time. Now, Stolis isn't exactly psychic, but his job is to read the constellations to unravel their prophecies for what they mean for Earth in the show. And the way that Stolis parents Octavia is just so pure. He's presented as the ultimate father figure. Yes, he makes mistakes and gets lost in his own dramas and wacky side plots, but the authenticity of Stolis' love is so there that you know that it never means it's because you did something wrong to lose his love. Stolis is supposed to remind us of our loving dads, and for me, that was this crazy psychic. This first week I had worked for him, I had asked offhandedly what my life's purpose was, just to sort of test him as a psychic and give him a hard time, and he said it was going to be to explain the incomprehensible on a larger scale. And it's no secret that I try to use these videos to spread as much information as I can about history and spirituality in general, even if only by talking about the interesting connections and lore across various religions and spiritual practices through demonology in cartoons. Bill's birthday was actually on Christmas, December 25th, so this time of year can be a bit tough for me, but I like to think he'd be really happy for me. I started working at Cartoon Universe right before he passed away, and Hailey was extremely patient and understanding in helping me find my footing on this channel while I was going through all that. This year, we've also hired Haro, our editor, who's become such a great friend, as well as our animators Aldo and Alan, who are animating my cartoon series I'm putting together. Aldo even made this little Christmas deep cut for me, and they all really made this Christmas the best one I've had since Bill died, so I just wanted to use this as an excuse to say Merry Christmas to all of them, and to all of you watching as well. I had a hard time recording this video because of how emotional it was for me, but after recording this video, Haro sent me this Christmas gift. It's an artwork drawn by our animator, Aldo again, who you also know from some of our original thumbnails. These guys really are just the best, and I hope they have great Christmases. Check out all the artist links in the description below, and everyone please drop a comment wishing Haro, Aldo, Alan, Hailey, and really everyone involved a Merry Christmas, because this really has just been the best year I could have asked for. My second favorite character of the show is undoubtedly Robo Fizz. I know this is a bit of an odd choice considering there is a real Fizz who is much more important to the story, and the Robo Fizz we know and love from Lululand is, well, but there's something about Robo Fizz that Fizzaroli just doesn't have. The robotic eyes are a help, and I definitely like Robo Fizz's color scheme more than the real Fizzaroli, but I think the thing I love most is just how relevant he is to Blitz and no one else. At the time of Robo Fizz's introduction, we didn't know that Blitz had a relationship with the real-life Fizzaroli, much less that they performed together as children. Having Blitz get so worked up over how he can't outperform a robot was really fun, but finding out that this was after already failing with the real Fizz is pretty heartbreaking, and makes Blitz's hatred for Robo Fizz even better. It's not that I even dislike Fizzaroli, but it's Robo Fizz that makes him so interesting to me. Number 3 is Striker. Striker was introduced in episode 5 and quickly became a fan favorite, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again sometime in season 2, as it looks like he will have a really awesome fight with Millie and Moxie. I love the way he seemingly manipulated Blitz, and while Blitz acts like he was just playing along, I believe Striker really did strike a lot of nerves, and perhaps even hypnotize Blitz to focus on them more. In episode 6, we got a trippy dream sequence with Blitz dealing with his relationship issues, and even Stryker was included among exes like Verosika and love interests like Fizzaroli. What makes Stryker so interesting to me is that he really made Blitz think about what his relationship to Stolis really is. Blitz had set up a series of ways to just deal and cope with what life he had made for himself and enjoy it for as much as he could, but Stryker shook him out of that and made him really examine how messed up his and Stolis' relationship can be. On top of that, I just love the idea that he's an assassin out there using elites to get his hands on royal weapons to kill other elites for them, and which he will probably use to go after overlords and perhaps even other princes in the Ars Goetia or what have you, in order to try and topple over the system. There's a lot of fun places that could go. Now those are my 3 favorite characters, but I do have something of a special mention here. As a general rule, the main character of a show is usually my favorite just because of how so much of the plot is about them. While I love Stryker and Robo Fizz, as explained before, so much of what makes them interesting is how they play out into Blitz's story. Blitz is a character with such a big backstory that we've been unraveling with one little secret at a time. He spends so much of his time spying on Moxie and Millie and pushing his way into their lives, and even acts like he himself is a really big open book, but he hides so many secrets from everyone. It makes sense why he might not want to share some of his depressing failures, but even his relationship with Verosika, a famous pop star, is something he keeps secret from people he wants to impress the most. We know that it was Blitz who broke things off with Verosika by stealing her purse and car, but she seemed to have genuine affection for him at least at some point, and even got his name tattooed on her. So you can see that Blitz has a very complex psychology involving his relationships. Blitz is the perfect main character because he has such an elaborate backstory that feels almost random, yet as things begin to come back and recur, there becomes this arc to his life and how he deals with these relationships. Most of his relationships have a bit of a power imbalance, with him attracting people in elite positions, from celebrities like Verosika to princes like Stolis. He doesn't appear to be half succubus or sexy lust imp like we saw in episode 7, and instead just seem to have the crazy something that gets the weirdest people chasing him, but because they are above him, there is always some strings attached. Verosika indicated in episode 3 that Blitz was her bodyguard, and this meant that Blitz probably felt on some level that he was expendable to her no matter how much she seemed to love him. Blitz falls into these relationships sometimes for practical reasons like needing Stolis' grimoire, but the pattern of them seems to date back to his childhood with Fizzaroli. We don't know for certain what Blitz and Fizzaroli's relationship was before they had their falling out. There appears to be an accident that left one or both of them with severe injuries and scars, but it seems like Blitz always just had a crush on Fizzaroli and never quite managed to get their relationship to happen. Since then, Blitz is very willing to get in relationships with people in higher positions than him because even if he feels used, it gives him the sense that he is worthy of them on some level, and thus was worthy of the childhood love that never panned out the way his other relationships did. And of course, Blitz really adds to this, such as when in the flashback, we see him going back and sleeping with Stolis when he could have taken the grimoire and just walked away. This is so much about what he's doing in his complex psychology, because he's not just some pure evil demon who just wants to steal for his own benefit. He does, at the very least, feel kind of bad for Stolis, even when Stolis has so much more going on for him. When you're young, your life can feel defined by just one simple thing about you, but as you get older and you do so many different things and have more crazy experiences, you become this kind of puzzle of a person with so many little secrets and backstories that people get to piece together as they slowly get to know you. Blitz in that way is an extremely realistic person despite how wacky his demonic adventures may be. All these characters I love are so cool because of how they help build up Blitz's life, and it's hard not to love a main character the most because of that. But these are just my favorite 3 characters and of course Blitz, and all the reasons I like them. What about you guys? Let me know your favorite Helluva Boss characters in the comments down below, and if you want, maybe we can do a favorites for Hazbin Hotel next. See you guys then.